This black and white profile photograph shows the thylacine, widely known as the Tasmanian tiger. Science tells us that intense hunting drove this unique, carnivorous marsupial to its absolute end, leading to an official declaration of extinction in 1936. Yet, if you look at the rugged coastal landscape and dense rocky hills captured in this vintage photograph of Tasmania, it becomes clear why locals tell a different story. Deep in these remote forests, people continue to report seeing a striped dog-like animal and finding unexplainable footprints to this very day. The scientific community requires a rigid standard for survival. To officially bring an animal off the extinct list, researchers need physical, indisputable proof, usually a living specimen or a verifiable body. But recovering that kind of physical proof is incredibly difficult when you consider the reality of Earth's geography. We share this planet with vast, hostile, and marginally unexplored terrains that easily swallow up the search parties sent to map them. Across the globe, 6 other species leave behind physical evidence that challenges the official record, suggesting that the line between extinct and alive is thinner than we think. This skeletal reconstruction belongs to the Glyptodon. Around 10,000 years ago, this massive, car-sized relative of the armadillo roamed South America, protected by the heavy, tank-like armored shell you see resting here on the table. While fossil records suggest they died out at the end of the last ice age, the Guarani and Quetta tribes of the remote Pampas region maintain active accounts of them. Even today, locals report seeing massive, bizarre footprints and describe slow-moving creatures they call living stones navigating the valleys. This silhouette scale comparison highlights a similar story in Asia. It charts an adult orangutan and a modern human directly against the Gigantopithecus, a towering 3-meter-tall prehistoric herbivore. When local Chinese and Vietnamese villagers describe encounters with a giant, heavily built ape, their reports align with the specific dimensions and 500-kilogram mass of the Gigantopithecus. It is remarkably easy for a solitary, quiet herbivore to remain hidden in a dense, unpopulated forest biome. Deeply rooted oral histories and consistent local sightings often act as an unwritten biological record. They preserve the memory of surviving megafauna long after Western science declares them relics of the past. In Africa, the evidence moves beyond oral history toward physical anomalies. Tribes in Chad and the Central African Republic frequently report an apex predator roaming the region that they call the Gigantopithecus tiger, an animal they describe as significantly larger than a common lion. Local hunters report discovering hippopotamus carcasses with cleanly severed necks. This specific trauma doesn't match the hunting style of a lion or a leopard. Looking at this full skeletal mount of a Smilodon, the mechanics of that kill make sense. When researchers show local tribes photographs of various predators, the witnesses consistently bypass leopards and lions. Instead, they point directly to saber-toothed cats, whose elongated, oversized canine teeth are evolved to execute a severed neck kill on heavy prey. Further east, we find the Nandi bear of Kenya and Uganda. This presents an immediate geographic anomaly because the African continent officially holds no native bear populations. The frequency of these heavy prints and vocalizations has prompted some biologists to consider the possibility of a surviving lineage, perhaps a giant hyena or a short-faced bear that found a way to persist in the wild. The combination of specific tracks and specialized kill marks provides a biological signature that suggests prehistoric apex predators are still active in the African wilderness. This vintage illustration shows Steller's sea cow, an enormous, peaceful marine herbivore discovered in 1741. Because of its massive size and slow speed, historical records claim European researchers and hunters drove it to total extinction in a mere 27 years. However, this antique 1780 map of the North Pacific Ocean proves the sheer vastness of the Bering Sea and Arctic waters. In 1962, a whaling ship reported a clear sighting of a massive creature matching the sea cow's description, and in 2014, blurry but massive shapes were photographed near Greenland, deep within these sprawling, icy retreats. A similar timeline applies to the pink-headed duck of India and Myanmar. Recognized for its highly unique, bright pink coloration, British colonists heavily hunted the rare bird, eventually declaring it wiped out by the 1930s. But the duck possesses 2 major biological advantages. It is entirely nocturnal, and it makes its home in some of the most isolated, inaccessible swamp regions on Earth. Because of this, local fishermen and farmers continue to file reports of seeing the ducks active at night. The evidence and geography align so well that the International Union for Conservation of Nature refuses to classify the pink-headed duck as fully extinct. It proves that sometimes the extinct label is simply a symptom of inadequate surveying. Naturally, there is scientific skepticism. Biologists rightfully point out that some of these sightings could be rare genetic mutations of known animals, like a hyena with unusual fur, or honest misidentifications made in the dark. But you have to weigh that skepticism against the volume of corroborating data mapped out here. We are looking at distinct tracks, specific kill marks, and uncoordinated local reports that match across entirely separate continents. Extinction is ultimately a human-made classification. It is a reflection of our own limited ability to observe every corner of the planet simultaneously. Our world contains immense unmapped oceans, dense jungles, and isolated savannas. These sprawling regions continue to act as natural, impenetrable sanctuaries, indifferent to the timelines and declarations of modern science. As long as these wild, shadowy frontiers exist, the door to rediscovery remains open. It leaves us to wonder exactly what else is quietly surviving, hiding just out of frame.